Hey guys, welcome to another recap of Project Runway. Alright, so if you remember last time, they called them to the runway that same night. Already I'm starting off on the right foot here. That same night they called them to the runway, and Tim and Heidi showed up with the infamous button bag. So they're switching things up this week. They're working in teams of two instead of two teams of people. So Samantha chose Daniel. Samantha got to choose because she had immunity. And then out of the button bag, they picked Richard, and he picked Stanley because those two are like two peas in a pod. Then Patricia chose Liana, and Matt ended up with Michelle, and Kate ended up with two. And Amanda, she had to choose Benjamin. He was, last pick on the playground, so... They end up at a bar the next morning, and they're like, what are we doing in this country western bar? Well, your next client is Miranda Lambert. I don't know why I did that voice for Tim Gunn, but because I could do an excellent Tim Gunn. Designers. Your next client is Miranda Lambert. So each team has to make two looks, so that's one per person. One person's going to be doing a performance look, and the other one's going to be doing the red carpet look. And of course they got the dossier and everything, explaining what she likes and doesn't like, and they were able to watch video of her and all that stuff. Let's just say Miranda Lambert is a real woman, and she loves her curves because she likes to eat. Nothing wrong with it at all. I think she's a big, beautiful woman, and I love that she's not feeling constrained by society that she needs to lose weight to be a successful, beautiful performer. So there. They have $400 per team to be at Mood. Thank you, Mood. Everyone's using leather, and not just any leather, navy leather. And Benjamin and Amanda at Mood, they weren't paying attention to how much they spent, and they ended up only spending $200 and change. Uh-oh, hot dog. Tim was pretty worried, but let's see how it all plays out. It's time for the Tim check-in, my favorite part of every episode beside the runway show, of course. 2, what are you doing? Oh, he had this plan that he was going to make this big poofy thing. Her hips were going to be busting out, her pooch was going to be busting out, her boobs busting out. When you're a larger lady, it's better to wear something that's more fitted. It's going to look better than something that looks like a tent, or many little tents all around. Richard was working on a net, meshy dress that looked slutty because it wasn't lined. It looked pretty scary. I was really worried for Richard, especially if he wasn't planning on lining it. I didn't think she was going to like that very much. Daniel, oh, I hated you this episode. I hate you. You were such a bore. Oh, look at this. He just couldn't stop saying how great he was to himself. It was just so annoying. It started out looking really good, but then as the outfit grew, it just seemed not that good. The skirt was horrendous. The top looked much better when it only had a few of those things, the soutache that you kept saying, oh, it's soutache, it's soutache. It looked much better before you drizgied it all up, as, my mom would say, diarrheaed it all up. Amanda's brother, I had no idea that he's the hair dude in Maroon 5. I remember when Maroon 5 first came out, and I was like, oh, who's that cool guy with the long hair? It's Amanda's brother. All right, she really wants to step out from her, the shadow of her famous family. Matt doesn't have a bottom for his outfit like day of. It's pretty scary. He ends up throwing one together, Michelle pitches in because they are on a team. You got to help each other out. And Richard, day of, he still didn't have the lining for his dress. But then he remembered that Stanley bought the t-shirts with him for Mood, so he took the logo off and made a tube dress out of it. Now that's using your head for more than a hat rack, Richard. Brilliant, brilliant. So it's time for the runway show, and Miranda Lambert is there because she's the guest judge, because she's going to be wearing them. And there is lots of leather fringe. It's a whole lot of leather fringe up on that runway. So let's talk about the highest scores. Stanley and Richard, their team was in the top. Stanley had that beautiful black chiffony gown, and it had that very tasteful hammered foil belt. It had a plunging neckline. It was really beautiful. Richard, his fringe net dress wasn't slutty anymore. With that t-shirt tube dress underneath, I mean, it was just perfect. It looked very expensive. I did really like that quite a bit. Benjamin and Amanda were also in the top. Benjamin had this simple, long, elegant navy gown. It had this little poof in the back. Obviously, it was for the red carpet. I just absolutely loved it. His was my favorite of the episode. I was hoping that they were going to have one performance look and one red carpet look win, but they only had one winner in the end. Amanda, she had the short fringy dress. It kind of looked ordinary to me. It was a fringe dress. So, bottom. Michelle and Matt. You know that was coming. Michelle, she had this crinkle leather vest top thing with this ridiculous linguine necklace that was like suede shreds. She really is trapped in the 80s. Look at her mohawk. That is such an 80s hairstyle. That necklace was just too much. When she took it off, it was much better, but she really liked it, and she put it back on the model. She should have threw it in the garbage. Should have threw it out the window. And Matt, his black two-piece short outfit. He didn't do anything exciting for Miranda Lambert. She wants excitement. She's, she's a performer. She's not going to a funeral somewhere and, this plain black, unfancy outfit. Short. All right. Daniel and Samantha were the other team in the bottom. Daniel in his soutache top. His two-piece gown looked so cheap and cheesy. He had the seam going up the front. He shredded the hem. It just looked cheap. And Nina, oh my God, I kind of felt bad for Daniel as much as I didn't like him this episode, because Nina went on and on and on. Oh, it's so bad, 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 bad. There's nothing good about this. It's all bad. Whew. Nina, give it a rest. And then Samantha, she had that leather and suede tiny outfit. Nothing special about it. But she's got immunity, so who cares? She could have made a cigarette wrapper. It wouldn't have mattered because she's got immunity. They would have, read her the riot act, but it wouldn't have mattered. So the winner is Richard with his unslutty line dress. It was classy when he finally put that tube dress on, because when she turned around in the back, you could still see the net on the top. So it kind of gave the illusion of being sexy while still being covered up. Again, I would have chosen Benjamin to be the winner because I really thought his dress was very classy, well fitted, well thought out. The loser, they left on the runway, Daniel, Michelle, and Matt. And Matt, unfortunately, was out. I really liked him. I think he had something special going on there. But I can see why the judges picked him and not Michelle or Daniel, because I guess from previous work they had more stuff. I was just really surprised at Daniel because he was one of my favorites until he turned into a bore. Let's see what happens with him next week. Hopefully he'll get a little humility. Next time. Oh no, the clients are some oldie line dancers. And who do you have as the guest judge when you have oldie line dancers as the clients? Joan Rivers, the cat lady. So that should be quite interesting. I can't wait till next week. It's going to be a good season, I have a feeling. Till then, much love.